The round of the comeback, 5 of the 9 games saw teams go 1-0 down and then 2-1 up. The championship never changes. Normal roller coaster ride. Not only did I call this right, I call it exactly how it played out as well, with Lincoln with the momentum taking the lead. And Kim Helberg said it himself, not a tactical win, but just the force of will and aggression of his players to get this one over the line. And, as is the order of the round in the championship, come back from a goal down to win this one 2-1. Look, one thing I'll say about Lincoln straight away is I love tactical diversity. And we were told, I didn't watch a lot of League One last season, but we were told Lincoln would be nice and direct, make defenders defend. And I love the goal they scored. Goes forward from the keeper, and they've got like 5 players forward. And it is one touch. I think it's 4 touches from keeper to the ball going in the net. And Adam Reach, who I'm trying to think what season it was, possibly 18, 19, has a highlight reel of absolute worldies at championship level. And this was a great strike by Reach. And you do see this with promoted sides. They can go away and they've just got that confidence, haven't they, to take the lead, particularly in the early going after promotion. But, I'm looking down at the numbers here. 76% possession for 2.23 XG for 23 shots. And yes, we sat here week after week looking at Kim Helberg's Middlesbrough with those type of numbers, losing games. So we think if the click is made this season from controlling games and controlling those underlying metrics to turning that into wins, i.e. they've changed the keeper and they've changed the number 9. And, you know, in key moments, can your keeper pop up and make a great save? And can your number 9 pop up with a goal? Well, right now, that is very, very much happening for Will Lankshear in the number 9 position. And we'll see how Vitek goes now. He has arrived. That would have been his debut in this one, wouldn't it? But, yeah, Lankshear with another 2. So he scored against Wrexham in a close game that Middlesbrough were bimbling towards either drawing or losing. He scores on 62, just redirecting in the 6-yard box. And then, by the way, I've not much mention for Riley McGree. And I suppose it's fair enough, isn't it? Because he's missed vast swathes of EFL Championship football with injury. But he's a really good creative player, isn't it? It's a lovely assist. And Lankshear just forces it home in the 91st minute. And, I mean, look, let's go all in on some hyperbole. Imagine you need 95 points to get promoted this season, or 93 or something. Imagine it's a high tide. You have to win these games. You have to win home games against teams who were in League One last season. If you're Middlesbrough, who are expected to be up there, who are a playoff loser, the only double playoff loser in playoff history, no less. But yeah, you got to get those 3 pointers. We don't know who the pace setters are going to be yet. We don't know what the parachute teams are going to do. Especially, I literally haven't seen 2 of them yet because of Sunday games in the schedule this round. But yeah, you got to get into that habit nice and early and stick to it. And 80, 85, 90, 95 points is a lot to accrue through the season. And yeah, no disrespect. You got Lincoln at home. You want 3 from that one, given where the 2 teams were last season and the way they both come in to this season. So, yeah, Middlesbrough are winning. And if they get into their groove, I mean, maybe they're just relying on Lankshear at the moment, but still, it very much looks like Middlesbrough under Kim Helberg when I'm looking at those numbers. For Lincoln, the undefeated streak ends, doesn't it? 29 EFL games undefeated going into this one. it's a great moment. I sound patronising, don't I? Oh, well done, Lincoln. You scored a goal. I don't want to be patronising to Lincoln because they're here to stay in the division, and they took the lead, so they're clearly not making up the numbers. But it was a great moment, and they were really close to taking a point, weren't they? So there's something to be positive about. But I always have in the back of my mind in these situations of, don't let this be the peak. Let's not celebrate losing in the 91st minute to Middlesbrough, because I'm sure the Lincoln fans are not here for a one-year championship tour, and they're going to want some points, and preferably about 45 to 50 of them, depending on what the total is this season. And yeah, if you're there and it's first game and maybe Middlesbrough aren't completely set, and you've got that momentum from last season, do you look at it as a missed opportunity when you're going into 90 minutes level? You want that point, don't you? So having said that, I think most people were expecting a Middlesbrough win in this one. So yeah, maybe two things can be true. Maybe it was expected that Lincoln were going to be losing, but they also can be disappointed not to be taking a point away given how close they got. But no cigar, and we don't want to be saying that about Lincoln all season. QPR are top of the table. Pompey 1, QPR 3. Bit of a weird game, and this is indeed one of the 5 where somebody was 1-0 down, and not just 2-1 up, but QPR went 3-1 up. And all of this happened in the first half. Pompey taking the lead. Brilliant goal by Devlin from fullback there, drilling that in. First time I saw it, I'm like, ooh, keeper, that's come a long way. But he really smacks that and swazzes it, spins out towards the keeper's left-hand post. Great goal. That was in minute 15. And then QPR, bang, 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 33, 40, and then stoppage time. That one really killed it, didn't it? When you've let it go 2 goals. And as we said at the top of the video, that's been key because not very many teams have managed to do that so far in round 1. If you watched my Championship Check-In podcast with Sam Parkin, he was almost saying, where is Ilias Chair going to fit now? Is Julian Stefan going to go with his 2 up top and Kone and Burrell, and there's going to be wingers and there's no room for Chair? No, there was very much room for Chair in the number 10 position, and I think it was just Burrell ahead of him, no Kone today. 2 goals and an assist, and it's easy to forget with Chair. He's been at QPR for the longest time. He's still there, and he's still a very, very dangerous championship player, getting into the box for the 2 finishes, just getting on the end of stuff and playing in Saito for that deflected second goal that gave QPR the lead. Apparently QPR never win on opening day. Well, they do now. Julian Stefan really pleased with the way his side stayed nice and calm. John Mousinho, as we'll go on to, said the exact opposite about Pompey's collapse. And you never want to see it, do you? 1 goal goes to 2 goals, goes to 3 goals, and you've got to be able to stay in games and control them. Interestingly, Ronnie Edwards, that kind of big ticket asset we think at centre-back, played in central midfield as well. I'm not sure that'll be a regular thing. And already kudos given to Pierce Charles, who we thought was going to be a great signing. Given credit for QPR's build-up play. If you do have a keeper that good with his feet, and I guess that's why he has been signed by Manchester City, that can really help just in terms of your possession game. Just gives confidence to centre-backs and, allows your build-up to be a hell of a lot more kind of calm, considered and consistent. So great start for QPR, winning on the road there. Pompey, really disappointing. Yeah, 8 points in their last 4 at home last season and 2 of those were in that incredible week where they beat Ipswich and Leicester, 2 parachute teams. Okay, one of them got relegated. But my point being is that Pompey are generally good at fratting. So to lose there and to collapse in the way that they did, they got the goal. You turn up for the first game of the season and one flies in after 15 minutes. You're like, right, happy days, here you go. And then you're 3-1 down by half time. And that can't be allowed to happen, especially not at Fratton. Massinio went mainly tried and tested. Brooke Smith started and Sheehan, but Pompey could look, I mean, Kamara started, but he'd already been at the club, hadn't he? They could look a lot more kind of new look down the road, I would imagine. But yeah, you don't want to see that fragility that early in the season where you're seemingly in control of a game. You can see one goal, it goes to 3 goals, and those 3 goals put QPR top of the league, and they are our heroic early leaders here. Swansea at Stoke, and again, it's another side who were 1-0 down and swung it round and won this one 2-1. We said about a few clubs, didn't we? Birmingham rings a bell, West Brom rings a bell, and Swansea definitely, where we're saying, give us some away output on top of your good home form, and you know where you'll end up in the league table. And Swansea have done that straight away. They were 4th under Vitor Matos at home from his hire last season, 14th away from home. So a big 10-place disparity there. Excuse me, slurpy. Come from behind win. We had all the Galbraith subplot, didn't we? But actually, in terms of the case of the X, remember Josh Timon used to play for Stoke, and he set up the winning goal in this one for Adam Eder, which is very interesting. He's going to be an interesting character there because Vipotnik's there still. He may not be there. We don't know. Keep an eye on that. Stewart is there. It might be Eder ends up being the guy if Vipotnik is sold late in the window, and you know there isn't time to necessarily figure out a like-for-like replacement. I mean, yeah, nice. Go and get a like-for-like replacement for the Golden Boot winner from last season. But it does bode well, I think, either way around. If I'm a Swans fan, I'm kind of having my cake and eating it. I'm pleased that Vipotnik is still there. But if it is going to be that he's leaving, I'm very happy that Eder's coming off the bench and scoring goals. He's got a couple at the end of last season. He'll get goals in that Swansea team and make plenty of chances. One of the new lads got the first, got a bit of a deflection. I've got to say, you know, I'm quite high on Swansea if you've seen my 1-24 predictions. I really like the creation of both of the goals, actually. The football's really nice. They work it out wide for both goals, both left-hand side, actually. And Apoku finishes the first one and Eder finishes the second. By the way, the opening goal from Stoke is really, really good. Bocat didn't know he had it in him. He's dancing in the box and then he kind of sticks it barring in the left back. But it was Swansea's day. Very efficient. They did it with 0.61 XG and only 3 shots on target. But they leave with the 3 points. Stoke, apparently some boos already in this one. We've said Mark Robbins is under a bit of pressure, isn't he, going into the season? And they've spent pretty big. Ingleson was in. Galbraith was obviously going to be in. Someone else was in as well. Graham at the back. Robbins' record as Stoke manager is not good, by the way. Big fan of his. What he did at Coventry was verging on genius. But sometimes someone is a really good manager for a club and a period in their career, and it kind of works there and may not work here at Stoke. I hope it does for him. But 18th in that, he took over on January the 1st, 2025. He was 18th in his games for that season and then 17th last season. That won't keep him in the job as much as I'm a fan of his. So, yeah, already talking about his players not winning enough duels and not running enough. I don't know. It's kind of your job, Mark, to make that happen, isn't it? But there you go. So not a lot of positivity there for Stoke. And this is a bruised and battered fan base who's, seen it all before, let's just say, and they're running the championship and they start with defeat here. And Charlton end up winning this one 2-1 at home to Derby. We were joking about the style in this one, that neither side were going to want the ball, and what was the actual possession and the passing stats going to be. Nathan Jones, always very keen to talk about his work, Nathan, but fair play, he's got the win today. Very keen to tell us that, they've gone to the back four today. So would that have made it slightly less stodgy? I did get the idea with this game that we'd have 3-5-2s turning into 5-4-1s with lots of big defenders on the pitch, and it might not be, it might have been quite attritional, let's just say. And I suppose it still was in some way. They go behind. Smodics gets the goal for Derby. We'll talk about him when we talk about Derby. And Jones, and this is a recycle on a set play, and then Campbell on a counter-attack get the goal. So, with respect to Charlton, you don't see them destroying teams with incisive football. It will be things like that, won't it? It will be make defenders defend, score from set plays, score on transition. That's what you want to see. And when you do play on transition, go for it. Did a fine job of that. Kumetio, McNamara, Chalobah, and Grant all in. Although, look at three of those, McNamara, Chalobah, and Grant. I mean, God, hundreds of championship appearances in there. So less of a gamble with those four new players than some teams having to do on opening day. But yeah, not entirely sure what to expect from Charlton this season. Remember, last time out, I think they're about 5th or something by October, and then it really got hard for them, and it felt like they just needed one win to get around that 50-point mark that it's been the last couple of seasons. Been high tides, hasn't it? And it just bimbled to the line. I don't know. Can they freshen up and go again? And Nathan talking very, very positively about his side's recruitment. I dare say bit of messaging there, because I think they'll do some more, won't they? But they start with a win, and they start with a win against the Derby side, who just missed the playoffs. I think I've tipped them to do the same this season, but I'm sure plenty of people with the John Eustace factor, and if they can get Aguiman back at the soonest, would probably have them challenging there again. But yeah, so really, really disappointing start. It's been a bit of a disappointing week, actually. If you do believe that a Saudi takeover would have been a positive thing, well, that all kind of fell through earlier in the week, didn't it? And now defeat from a winning position, which is, they're normally more robust than that John Eustace sides, aren't they? Get in front, defend the clean sheet, win the game. That's the deal, especially on the road, Derby County. Look, Smodics, that looks very positive. I said I thought that was a good signing. And he's the sort of guy, knowing his personality profile, that has a big point to prove and will, that will really drive him. He'll enjoy proving it. And he's got Big Morris punching the holes ahead of him, and he's kind of just behind. Eustace did that a bit at Blackburn, didn't he? Actually, can be a number 10 who scores a lot of goals. And yeah, he looks fit, firing, ready to go this season. Smodics, although little thigh problem apparently in the warm-up. I know some Derby fans reading in the comments under Eustace's interview, disappointed to see him going off pretty early in the game. And that does raise the creativity argument as well. Sometimes you look at a John Eustace side and you're like, okay, they'll be really, really hard to beat, but can we make some chances? But hey, Alex Mowat it was who came in for Smodics. I know that's peak Eustace signing in a proven championship experienced player with tons of appearance. But yeah, Mowat's got a good long range shot, a good cross, a good set play delivery. So maybe he increases the creative output and options there. But not to be today for Derby, as they go under 2-1 at Charlton Athletic.